In June of 2000, Quisi Bryan was pulled over near a gas station by a patrolman, 32-year-old Wayne Leon, for his car's altered temporary license tag. At the time, Bryan was on parole for a robbery conviction and had a warrant for his arrest over drug, theft, and parole violation-related charges. Fearing arrest, Bryan climbed out of his car with a .45 caliber pistol in hand and shot the approaching Leon in the face. Leon was killed instantly in the process. A bystanding motorist witnessed the shooting and chased Bryan as he tried to flee in his car. Despite Bryan repeatedly shooting at them, the undeterred motorist continued chasing him until he crashed his car into a parking lot. Bryan then escaped the scene on foot and bribed a group of men to drive him to a safe location. He tried to cover his tracks by discarding the pistol used to shoot Leon in a dumpster and replacing it with another handgun borrowed from. During their search, police traced the car's license tag to Bryan and obtained a description of a second car he borrowed and drove from his ex-wife. Only hours after the shooting, police also learned that Bryan and his girlfriend rented a hotel room with a stranger he paid's help, and they arrested him while he was driving the car he borrowed from his ex-wife. He was indicted for Leon's murder and sentenced to death for it in November of 2000 by the state of Ohio. On death row, Bryan was found to have been a serial rapist. In 2007 and 2013, DNA testing implicated him in a series of abductions and rapes of women that occurred throughout the 1990s. The last rape took place only weeks before Leon's murder. According to a 2014 Cleveland.com article, Bryan ironically impersonated a police officer to kidnap one of the victims. Another victim testified that he abducted her at knife point while she was walking home from an Alcoholics Anonymous meeting and sexually assaulted her next to an abandoned house. She further recounted that Bryan threatened her life if she didn't cooperate with him or if she reported him to the police. The victim also shared with the court that she was grieving the death of her son when she was abducted and raped. Bryan was charged with the rapes of 4 women in 2007, and he received an additional 48-year prison sentence. On appeal, the sentence was reduced to 22 years imprisonment by the Ohio Supreme Court after it ruled that the court wrongly used outdated statutes to convict him. He was also charged in 2014 with the rape of the above-mentioned woman he kidnapped at knife point. During the proceedings, Bryan represented himself and used arguments questioning the woman's alleged criminal history and attacking the DNA evidence. In 2017, he was sentenced to 50 years imprisonment for the sexual assault. Beyond his murder and sexual misconduct convictions, Bryan was a career criminal and drug dealer according to court documents. As a free man, he sustained himself by robbing other drug dealers. Although his death sentence was overturned in 2015 by a district judge over the dismissal of a black juror, it was reinstated in 2016 by the Sixth Circuit Court of Appeals, which ruled that the judge overreached their interpretation. Bryan's death warrant was signed by the Ohio Supreme Court for a 2022 date, though Governor Mike DeWine twice delayed the execution to 2026 and 2028. As of writing, Bryan remains on Ohio's death row and is theoretically awaiting a November 15, 2028 execution date.